Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful day with us on Live with Lloyd. I'm your host, astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. You know what's so interesting? I have been having some challenges with this computer since this afternoon, and I was supposed. I have no idea what's going on. I'm trying to see how can I get to my other things to do this. But anyway, it is Wednesday. So since I do have this up, it is the 11th of 2026. The sun is in Pisces. The moon went into Sagittarius. Mercury's retrograde. And boy, is it acting up. It's a 3 universal month, a 7 universal week, a 6 universal day. So for those in the house who are Librans and Tauruses, or anyone born on the 6th, the 15th, and the 24th of the month, well, this is your day. Now, I'm trying to figure out what's going on, why it won't let me. Okay. This is amazing. I had all my banners. Okay, you can see and hear me perfectly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me see. Yep, there is my banner at the bottom. Now, my media settings, that's what is, I'm trying to figure out why that is not responding. Because I wanted to let you know, first of all, I need to get this off the screen. Let me see something here. I click here. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to figure out something. So bear with me a second. For those of you, I want to thank you for joining me. And normally it's something with new comments. Okay, can I take that off? No. Okay, anyway, I want to let you know that this Numbers in You is brought to you by, look at this. I'm, okay, everybody. I'm looking right at it. Why won't it do well? What I'm going to do is refresh. Don't go anywhere, everybody. I'm going to reload and hopefully all right, I think we got it. Okay. If you can hear me, my moderator, if you can please give me an indicator that we're on live and whatnot. I had to refresh it. I know, one of the things I want to talk about are cycles. And one of them is a cycle of 21 days known as Mercury retrograde that started on the 25th of last month. It will last until the 20th of this month of March. Okay. So anything started of a serious nature when Mercury's retrograde is likely to go wrong. Okay, good. All the way live. Good. So I read the forecast. So let me tell you who my sponsors are. My sponsor is, I'm glad to say, my buddy King Simon. All righty. These are his books. I have every single copy on this screen, autographed. Simon is my brother. He has helped me in so many ways, and I'm glad that he is back as one of my major sponsors. Then also I have, come on, there we go. Kimberly of Manifest on Purpose, one of my sponsors. You go to KIMBALEY. That's KIMBALEY. She also has her books on Amazon. It's called The Business of Numerology. All right. So just get there, order it. And by the way, she has a kind of feature she offers if you purchase it and read the book and leave a review on Amazon and take a screenshot and send it. Email the screenshot and the business name and corporational date. She will give you kind of like a complimentary assessment. It ain't long. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's just enough to kind of get you started. All right. And then also one of my good buddies, not King Simon, but hold on. Let me get this ticker off a second at the bottom. Okay. So not manifest on purpose, but Soul First, Master 24 Hours, Master Life. All right. That is by Dr. Uchenna Hackett. he is really the one that was responsible for me encouraging Lloyd, why don't you get an app? Why don't you get an app? I thank him very much for that. Also, one of my favorite people is, of course, as everybody knows, Monique Nicholas, all right, of Nicholas, Brooklyn at 1396 Fulton Street. She is in a fundraiser. Please give your support as best you can. You can go to gofund.me, M-E, look it up, Nicholas Brooklyn, Save Nicholas Brooklyn, 52-year legacy, and make your contribution. And in fact, this particular Saturday, she is going to have Sovereign Things on tour. They're going to be there. The doors open at 6 p.m. Then next Saturday, she's going to have historian Anthony Browder. I plan to be there with my buddy King Simon. We're going to greet him with his new book. He'll be autographed. I'm going to make sure I get an autographed copy too. Buy an autographed copy. I need to say thank you. Also, Melinda Valentine, known as Queen Bee, who is just a great astronumerologist. And these are her services that she offers. You see her phone number, and her website is at the bottom of the flyer. And because we are in the water sign still until about maybe 10, 11 days from now, well, actually 11 or 12 days from now, we get go into Aries, but right now we're in the water sign. So she's put out a reflection that reflects all 4 signs. So right now we're in a water period. So if you happen to be a Cancer, or if you happen to be a Scorpio, or if you happen to be a Pisces, of course, this is your time to get this. And this book is available on Amazon. I got to give my buddy some props. That is Big E. He is having a 10-week course that starts in March the 29th at the end of this month of June the 14th. What I am very happy about is he and his wife, Alana, has also published their first book, Star Signs and Rhythm Lines, okay? So I can't wait to get a hold of this book to see exactly what's going on. And by the way, I'm going to sponsor myself by saying, for those of you who are curious about numerology, these are the courses that I have on Udemy. You just go to Lloyd-Strayhorn and you sign on from there to get the discount. And it's Learn from Lloyd how to read a person like a book, Learn from Lloyd, the next step in numerology, and Learn from Lloyd the do's and don'ts. So actually the first one that came out was How to Read a Person Like a Book. That was number 1. And all of these have been bestsellers ever since I have put them online, which is a testament to the classes that I have online. And for those of you who may have missed it, this is a map of all the students that I've got on Udemy. I have now I got 6,900. You can almost round it up and say I have about 7,000 students in 177 countries on every continent in the world, okay? Except that one at the top kind of a little to the right, but that dot in the center though, that's Iceland. And then if you go far down and to the right, that's Iceland. No, that's New Zealand, excuse me. So from Iceland to New Zealand, from the United States to New England to India to all the parts of the world, this course is being signed. So for those of you who are interested in becoming kind of like, to satisfy your curiosity, how this works, because I'm going to be talking about cycles today. So if any of you got a pen and paper to get some notes so you can see how I do what I do, and then I can read you too. All righty. And for those of you, I'm offering something very, very special, something very, very unique, which is I'm offering a certified astronumerology practitioner level 1 program that's going to start on the 22nd. Click on the code there, and just there'll be a questionnaire. I am not looking for a lot. I'm only looking for those who are very serious. The course here is to satisfy some basic curiosity, and you can get it at a discount, but it's nothing like the one-on-one that you will get with this one. This is really designed to take people who want to develop another skill set that will last you. And as I said, the proof is in the pudding, and these are the courses, or these are the students in the different parts of the world that has actually taken my course, which tells me when you learn this, you can go anywhere on this planet And now they got with AI and whatnot. I think they can put glasses on and you'll be understanding the language. Such is the AI. It's incredible. But the point is this: for those of you, only the serious needs to apply. I'm not taking a lot. It's going to be a very small, exclusive group, because what my wish is that I've been doing this for a very long time, and I want to teach people some of the ins and outs. Those who are really, really feel they have a gift at this, want to really help humanity, and really develop a skill set in the meantime that would last them as long as they live. Okay, so for those of you, please take a screenshot or click on the QR code, I think they call it, and just fill out the questionnaires, and you got to see if you qualify. Believe me, you see if you qualify. But in the meantime, so for those of you, it's interesting. We what's today? The 11th. So 10 days from now, we went into the 21st, which begins spring. Everything is in a season. Well, all of us individuals have our spring, our summer, our fall, and our winter. Spring is like a baby. Okay, that's the baby stages when they come out all wet and slippery and cuddly and cute, and everybody wants to talk to them and whatnot and hold them and smell the fresh skin of a baby coming out the womb and stuff. Then there is the summer. That's when you start becoming like, that's teenagers and things of that nature. Then you got the fall, where now you are an adult. You have responsibilities. You have boyfriend, girlfriend, husbands, wives, jobs, careers, profession, whatever. And then we reach that point in life where we reach that coming toward the, shall we say, the end of the life, which is the harvest cycle or the winter cycle. And so thus our lives as human beings goes just in the cycles of the seasons. So there's some people who have babies, they're in the springtime. There's some people who are teenagers or young adults, they're in the summer. Then you've got adults who have families and careers and responsibilities and whatnot, those as the fall. And then there are those that are elders that we must respect, and they represent the legacy, the end of life, the season. So what I want to do is show you how to do, and in fact, I wanted to really put everything up on the screen where you can see it, but because the computer was doing its own thing, okay, and I know Mercury's retrograde, I says, okay, well, what I got, where I'm going, let me just stop right here. But the point is this: you can tell, first of all, there's always the universal year, okay? So if you look at the universal year, which I'm going to do here, excuse the sloppy handwriting. I don't know if you can see it. No, you can't see it. I'm going to get a marker next time. But if you take 2026, and see, the beauty of numerology is, and that's why I got hooked up to it, because I shouldn't say I was the worst math student in the world, but I wasn't the best math student in the world, that's for sure. The beauty of numerology, 90% of the process is simple addition. 1 + 1 is 2. I got that. So when a person is born on the 23rd of the month, I'll say, and by the way, thanks for putting it, because I will be going to the comments soon, reading your birthday, showing you the cycles you're in. So let's say a person is born on the 23rd. Well, to me, 2 + 3 is 5. Simple. And so this year, 2026, adds up to a 10, and 1 + 0 is 1. Now that means, okay, so most people is just a number. Metaphysically, it tells me a lot. To an astrologer who understands that the planet that governs the number 1 is the sun, that would represent Leo to them, in a minor way Aquarians, and then Aries. To a numerologist, it would tell me that that person is not only a Leo, looking at it from an astrological perspective, but they're either born on the 1st, the 10th, the 19th, or the 28th of the month, because 1 + 0 is 1, 1 + 9 is 10, and 1 + 0 is 1, and 2 + 8 is 10, and 1 + 0 is 1. See, and then they say, well, what about 10? Well, 1 + 0 is back to 1. What about 11? 1 + 1 is 2. What about the 12? 1 + 2 is 3. So I hope you get it. This is what is called the phatic system, where you add the essence of something. So let's say at the Harlem State Office Building on 125th Street, that is, the address is 163. Well, 1 plus 6 plus 3 is 10, and 1 plus 0 is 1. Well, that is a mainstay on 125th Street. So there's a lot of things to learn about numerology and how to get your cycles. Now, that's the universal cycle. So if we look at last year, 2025, that was a 9, because 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 is a 9. Next year, oh, by the way, 9 favored anybody that was under Aries or Scorpio, or born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th of the month. So it didn't surprise me that the mayor of New York City, Mamdani, won the election, the mayoral election last year, because he's born on the 18th of the month. Okay, 1 plus 8 is 9, that's his year. The beauty of the universe, the beauty of the Creator and the Most High and the heavens and the stars is everybody gets a turn. No one is left out. You just have to be patient. And we are in a world where everything is either instant gratification, just push a button, the flick of a switch. And so, yes, it works in that way. So this is why people don't have no patience. Me, I was very impatient. Why is this thing taking so long? Why am I in a jerky kind of feeling? But the whole thing is, when you understand the universal principle of things, it would have told me that if anybody came to me and, Lloyd, should I start a major project that has consequences, starting around the latter part of February, right after when Mercury went into retrograde on the 25th, then there was an eclipse on the 3rd of March. And then with Mercury retrograde too, I'd have said, don't start anything right now. So there's some people that have started something. And in fact, there's events in the news right now that are kind of mind-boggling. And for whoever who starts, and I'm not just talking about world events, I'm talking about small events. This is not the time to buy a car, for example. This is not the time to buy electronics, for example. This is the time when phones act up, cars act up, computers act up. There's miscommunications in communications. Well, boo, you said meet me at 3. You said no, meet me at 4. It's all kinds of little things where people are kind of not on the same page, Now, after the 20th, when Mercury goes direct again, which means it goes back to its normal rate of speed, then everybody will be what is called on the same page. But right now, this is not the best time to sign contracts. This is not the best time to talk in generalities, but be as specific as possible so people understand that, oh, that's what you're talking about. This is when people will write a phone number and the last numbers will be 2341, and they'll write it 2341. They'll write it just reverse. So basically they wrote it down, but the hand and the mouth will say one thing verse. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. So it's not as an excuse to not still do what you have to do. Don't get me wrong. But the point is, if there is any concerns that are kind of like where, wow, I thought you understood what I was talking about, this would make sense. So those are the things to kind of understand. So then there is what is called the personal year cycle. Because people say, okay, so for the universe, Lloyd, 2026 is a 10 or 1. Well, what about me? Okay, well, it's very simple. You take the month and day you're born, and then you add to it the year that you want to know about, in this case, 2026. So I read some twins the other day. They're 16-year-old twins, right? And they were born on January the 16th. So what I told them January the 16th, 2026. And that came out to a 9. They're in a 9 personal year, these young teenagers, okay? So, and they were fascinated. This, I've lectured at schools, public schools, high schools, junior high schools. The kids are definitely more fascinated with this, because then it teaches them how to learn their parents, especially their teachers. Some of the teachers didn't like that because they was getting to the teacher's business, which was funny to me. But young people seem to be more open to learn. We adults, we think we've learned everything. And the sad part about it is that's exactly when we stop learning. As soon as we think we know everything, but there is so much to learn. So to get your personal year, what you do is you take the month and day you were born, and then you add it to this year. Now you can do this in any year. Any event or major event in your life that took place, whether the past, the present, or if you want to know about the future. So, for example, what year was it you when you graduated from high school? What year was it when you first got married? What year were you in personal year in when you first got that job? What personal year were you in when you first had your child? There's wherever you first bought your car, you first bought your home, you first moved from one city to another. Everything we do is cyclical, just like the seasons. And it all depends on what your season of life is. Are you in the spring of your life, the summer of your life, the fall of your life, or the winter? So, yes, that speaks of ages, but it also speaks about things that you're doing, such as starting a business, starting a job, starting a career, starting a relationship. Wherever you are in, it goes through this cyclical, seasonal thing. I think here in New York, at least here on the East Coast, the time went back an hour. I couldn't figure out why was it still light up here. It's supposed to be about dark. It's about 5:30. It's still light up in here. But I forgot all about move back, fall back, and then spring forward. So, but then we're about spring. So I don't understand. Anyway, there's some time zones. I think like in Arizona, it stands still. Okay. Why this does this, I don't know. Maybe because there's more winter over here in the East Coast or whatever the case is. But it changes seasons and people's what they call it circadian rhythm is sometimes thrown out of whack. Because I had a client tell me recently that when in some cases at a nursing home, when the time went back or forward, there seemed to have been an increase of patients in these facilities that tend to have heart problems. Well, what did they change? The hours of the sun. What is the one rule? The one rules the heart. Okay. Just a coincidence. That's all, because that's how people say, well, it's just a coincidence. But if you understand the nature of the creator, nothing is really an accident. So for those of you, when you put your name in, I'll tell you what your cycles are, or hopefully you can tell me what cycle you were in, and then I will just confirm it. So once you find your personal year, then you go to the stage of what is the personal month, okay? So we're in 2026, which is a 10. This happens to be the third calendar month of March. So therefore, 1 plus the third calendar month equals a 4. So March, all the Marches are 4, universal month. So let me tell you about the universal month. The universal month again means Leo, Aquarians, Aries, and those born on the 1st, the 4th, the 10th, 13th, the 19th, 22nd, 28th, and 31st of the month. They go to the head of the class. 2027 is going to be Cancers that will go to the head of the class. Or if you're born on the 2nd, the 7th, the 11th, the 16th, the 20th, the 25th, or the 29th, everybody gets a turn. And then the year 2028 is the year of the 3. The year of 2029 is the year of the 4. The year of 2030 is the year of the 5. 2031 is the year of the 6. And it is, and I mean, this is why they can tell you when the sun is going to rise, the sun is going to set, when Mercury is retrograde, when there's going to be a solar eclipse we had last week, when there's going to be a lunar eclipse. Everything is all predicated upon the cycles of the numbers, the cycles of the seasons. And what is more important for you to understand, and what are your cycles? Don't worry about what so-and-so over there is doing. You better focus on what you need to do with your cycles. Are you in the right place at the right time, in harmony with the universe? This is very, very important to understand these features. And once you do, you'll find that everything will go along smoothly, even under the circumstances, even under the stress, even under the drama and the chaos that seems to be going on in this world. The point is to establish as much harmony within your space, okay, to understand your children, you, your parents, your mates, your boss, your coworkers, anybody who's in your space, you can understand them. And it just makes life easier under the circumstances, because life ain't always that easy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not walking around being billionaires, so maybe they don't have nothing to worry about. But then again, I found that they are sometimes some of the most unhappiest person, because it ain't about the money as much as establishing harmony with yourself. So that's what you do. So let's take another example. I will take Eric. Eric is born, he's the astrologer. He's born September the 10th, right? So I'll take September the 10th, but add it to the year 2026. So first of all, 2026 is a 10, and he's born on the 10. So that is very significant. Anytime anytime the universal year is matching your date of birth. So for those of you who are born on the 1st, the 10th, the 19th, or the 28th, and no matter which month from January to December, this will prove to be a significant year for you. It's just that simple. But in the case of Eric, when I add September the 1st to 2026, he happens to be in a 7 personal year. Now take my good buddy, King Simon, my man, all right? He is born on the 1st of February. So he's a number 1. And this year, 2026, adds up to a 10, which adds up to a 1. So instead of taking 9, 10, like in Eric's, I'm taking King Simon's to February the 1st and then adding it to this year. He happens to be in a 4 personal year. So this is a foundational cycle for him. This is a cycle for him to lay the foundation, to lay the structure of what he wants to do as he moves forward for the next 365 days, or whatever the case is. For Eric, who's in a 7 personal year, this is a year for him to be a seeker of wisdom, knowledge, understanding, to begin to get to the bottom of why things are why the way they are. It is a cycle that governs anything metaphysical, and it just so happens coincidentally him and his beautiful wife Alana, whose birthday, she's a Pisces 8, so her birthdays come up. It's either day or the 17th. So happy birthday, happy belated birthday if I missed it. But the point is, he put out his book, okay, that he and his wife together. So it makes sense. And the point is, what cycle are you in? Then there is the day. And you cannot, all these things, in order to get the personal or universal month, universal day, universal week, you must start with the year first. You cannot do that. You cannot find it any other way. And so then there's the day. So what happens, the year is 365 days. The months is somewhere from 28 to 30 to 31 days. A week is 7 days, and a day is 24 hours. So there are cycles among cycles. It's like a big wheel, then a small wheel, then a little wheel. But all of them are in lockstep. Like for people who mechanics, they can appreciate this. It's like looking at gears. And as those wheels are turning, is that the little wheel is turning the bigger one is turning the bigger one and whatnot. But when they're in sync, it's like an engine. It's like a motor. Mechanics and guys who understand cars, ladies too, I'm sure some of y'all are in that too. But you can understand when things is moving, when there's some synchronicity of the rhythm of those wheels in lockstep with one another, circulating or rotating. This is how our lives work too. I'm saying we're God's engine. We're not mechanical, made of metal, but we are made of things that are very priceless and whatnot. And so the point is to find your center, to find where you are. And there was this, shall we say, motivational speech by Earl Nightingale. He was way back in the day, along with Napoleon Hill and Dale Carnegie, all those cats way back there. But the point was, the Acres of Diamonds is like, in essence, we're so busy looking into everybody else's backyard, getting into everybody else's business, when we need to figure out what our own business is. We need to see what's underneath your feet, underneath all of you. As I was saying for the last couple of weeks, every single one of you, without exception, have a skill. But we're not taught to have a skill. The way it's designed is the education institution trains everybody to be robotic, to just, you learn this, you give it feedback, but it's not about what is called critical thinking, to be able to think for yourself. And this is what I encourage with the Live with Lloyd family. You either think for yourself or somebody will do your thinking for you. Now, it's not that you don't listen to other people or get other people's advice, but you might get somebody advice and inwardly, spiritually, that something don't sound right with that. You have a right to question it, because guess who's going to pay the price or the consequences if it goes wrong? You. So you might as well just do what you have to do. Follow your mind. Several years ago here in New York, there were some visitors coming into New York, and they're sightseeing. So one family, they went to get in a helicopter. For some reason, the woman just didn't want to go. Unfortunately, there was an accident with the helicopter, and I think it landed in the Hudson River. I think she lost her husband, her children, something like that. But for some reason, when asked, she could not explain it. So what I'm saying is, you must follow your spirit. God has given to every one of you a mind, Okay, you're not mindless, although I think they want people to be like robots and have no mind. But I'm here to tell my Live with Lloyd family the rule is you either think for yourself or somebody will do your thinking for you. And the point, what I'm saying is they've got us, this society got us distracted looking at what this entertainer is doing, or that celebrity is doing, or what that personality is doing. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what are you doing? That's the point. What cycle are you in? Because where one cycle, like with Eric, who's in a 7, is totally different than King Simon, who's in a 4. The cycles are different. The cycles express something that we all need to go through. And these, now, you can either learn these lessons and graduate to the next one, or you don't learn these lessons and you got to repeat them over again. They used to say get left back, okay? But the point is, you get my point. So these are the things to do. So again, I want all of you, if you're interested in learning these cycles more, take my course. They're all on sale. I think the sale ends in 2 days. That's the only time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them up where y'all got to pay the big price for them. So right now it's on sale. So go to LLoyd-Strayhorn.com, sign up for these online courses for those that are curious and want to know how to do this. But for those of you who want to take it to the next level, to be serious, because I want to carry on this legacy, so to speak, and I'm only looking for a select few. It ain't everybody going to do this. I'm talking about this is something that's going to take it to the next level. So click on the QR code, or you can go to the bottom of it where you see it's www.kimberly.com/astronumerology, and you will get it from there. All righty. So let me get this off the screen. All right. Okay, let me see this. All right. So with that said, folksies, I'm going to now get to you and you tell me what cycle you're in. And let me get this off the screen. All righty. So now, see, now this is one of my favorite parts, right? Because first of all, I'm nosy anyway. I ain't going front, okay? It's not that I love to get in people's business. I love to see how cycles are going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my comments section. There we go. And I'm going to try to take everybody on this list as much as I can. No repeats, please. That's what helps me. If there are no repeats, that's good. Okay, let me go back from the beginning. All righty. So I always got to thank Empress Rel, she always puts who's available, whatever, the sponsors of the show, things like that. Like she's got Melinda's Reflection Journal, things like that. She does this. This is how she rolls, celebrating Nicholas Brooklyn 50 years, and also business analytics. Okay, so let me go here to this, and all right. Well, there are always certain people I kind of look for. Earth appears. I don't mean to put her under no pressure, but she's my girl, okay? And she is always there, melanated aid to the Dove Love Fly KM 5679. Love you too, very, very much. Empress Rel says, hit the like buttons, please. You know, it's interesting. Every time I do these forecasts, at the very top, it always says, please like, share, and subscribe. I don't even know why I got it on there because I don't read it. But I'm beginning to understand it in this, shall we say, new atmosphere. It's important they says for the algorithms, okay? It didn't used to be that way, but for the algorithms. So please like, share, and subscribe. Now, my screen is like jerky, okay? It's been jerky like that since I started. I refreshed and whatnot, but as long as you can hear and whatnot, that's good. So, so Amethyst says, hello, everybody. Let me see something. Okay, where am I? Okay, here we go. And this is Hoodham. His birthday is in November. I think he's November 6th. Okay. I mean, y'all are like family. I can almost remember many of the birthdays of the people that I meet. And I thank all of you very, very much too. And see, here's one of my favorites right here too, melanated Now, I shouldn't be looking for her but I mean, y'all got me spoiled to a degree, not spoiled rotten. I'm not that far yet, but it's kind of like I miss you. It's like Carol and Stephen Williams in Chicago. And then for those of you who may not know, he lost his beautiful wife late last month. I think it was on the 18th or the 19th of February. So I dedicated a show just to just to his wife, Carolyn Williams. And then so many of you gave condolences to Stephen and whatnot. That was a beautiful thing, and I really, really appreciate that. Okay. So with Melanated H, she's one of the regulars. So I know that when I see her, it's all good. Okay. And also Quintella. See, where's Quintella? Why is it not showing up here? There she is. There we go. Quintella. She is always there. So it's not that all of y'all gotta be on here, but I'm saying that you're like family. And when you got family, you kind of like, hey family, how you doing? This, that, and the other. Okay. So now this is our first reading. This one with the first birthday. Okay, so this is Marla Marabito, and they are born 12/21, and they're born at 11:13 p.m. So they're born at night. So the sun was at the very bottom of the chart. So the sun was sitting in the fourth house. Yes, it was always, the sun is sitting in the fourth house. Okay, that's the house of Cancer. So anyway, let me say this. I don't know what you determine your personal year, but what you do is I took 12/21, added to the year 2026, and it came out to be a 7. So Marla is in a 7 personal year, just like my buddy Eric Taylor, the astrologer. I call 7 the cycle of it's more the introspective cycle. It's a cycle where you do a lot of soul searching. It's the cycle where you begin to kind of look at things in a way. It's not challenging, but the cycle puts you out of the framework of finance, chasing the bag, trying to make a buck, romance, trying to start a relationship, trying to carry on an affair. It's about just a cycle of where you go within. And this is an ideal time to meditate. Now, this may be kind of challenging for Marlon because 3 is very active. It governs the sign of Sagittarius, whose rulership is a 3. So she's 3 across the board. So I know that, first of all, although she says she's born in 46, I can tell you straight up, she don't look nowhere like she's born in 46. She could look like she's born in almost 1960. So if she's dated a young man 5, 10, or 15, or 20 years younger than herself, that would not surprise me at all. Not that I'm trying to get in her business, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? These things are very interesting. And by the way, your key numbers are the 3, 6, and 9. So it tells me you got a lot to say. So this is Barbarell. Good evening. What's in store for me in the cycle? All righty. So you had a birthday. So happy belated birthday, Barbarell. And so you in a 4 personal year. And all I did was simply, I took March the 9th and added the 2026, which is a 1. So this is a year for you to kind of like, and see, it's interesting. 7 is more of a spiritual cycle, which is why a lot of people in this materialistic and emotional world we in don't do well. And a lot of people don't like the 4. Now, looking at the year she's born in, maybe she doesn't mind. The newer generations, the Gen Zs, XYZs, whatever the younger people fall in nowadays, they some of them are born into a generation of entitlement. Well, you need to do this for me and you need to do that for me. Well, she's coming out of a generation, obviously, where she's got to put in the work. Oh, that's what a 4 cycle does. It's a 4, it's shaped like a square. It means there are boundaries, restrictions, you know what I'm saying, confinements. You have a roadmap you have to follow. You can't do things in a helter-skelter fashion. You must do things with a sense of order, purpose, and intention. 4 is the number of efficiency. So you might want to buy a new coat, but you need to pay the bills, okay? So that's it. That's what it teaches you. The beautiful part I like about 4s, although people say, oh man, I got to work and I got to put in an effort, but I will tell you this, what you put in is what you get back. So if you don't put any skin in the game, how can you expect to get something back? It's impossible. But nonetheless, she's born as one of my favorite singers, Jeffrey Osborne. That's his birthday. Um, and her numbers are the 9, 3, and 6, because everybody has lucky numbers, but she's in a 7 cycle. Okay. So let's see who else we got here. Okay. All right. Melanated 8. Her birthday is today. I would sing happy birthday to you, Melanated 8, but we ain't going to go there. We're going to not mess up your day, because singing is not my strong point. Numerology is. I'm the best at this, but singing, singing to myself, that's good. Anyway, happy birthday to you from the Live with Lloyd family, Melanated 8. And it simply means that this is a day for you to enjoy yourself to the nines. I'm hoping you had the best birthday ever so far. And you are a water sign, but with a master number. Now, it's interesting. Well, they say, isn't 1 + 1 = 2? That's true. So if it was a 2, let's say you were born on March the 2nd, you would therefore be a water sign with definitely a water number. But because you're born on the 11th, which is a master number, this number 2 is composed of 2 1s, which are fire numbers. So that means you're passionate, very illuminating, very inspired, very inspirational. You pick up they call it now, downloads of ideas from on high, very visionary, come up with great ideas and concepts and inventions and things like that in the mind. And then it's the master number 22, which is double the 11 that takes it to the next stage. And that's why they call it master builder, because they take these ideas that you have, Melanated 8, and begin to really turn it into things that are concrete and tangible. But you, my dear, happen to be in a 6 personal year. When I did March the 11th, the 2026, it's a 6. So 6 is very friendly to you. 6 governs romance and finance. Okay. Love, marriage, separation, divorce, births, pregnancies, moving into a home, moving out of a home, going back to school. So it tells me now that it ain't you change your hair. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't change it way as far back as October of last year, and then maybe now rechanging it again or adopting the style you have. In a 6 cycle, a person is always a work in progress. So I know that how things are happening for you. But your most important or significant or lucky numbers are always the 2, 7, and 3 in that order. 2, 7, 3. And your best day, therefore, always on a Monday and a Thursday and a Friday. Those will be the best dates I give you. And happy birthday on this birthday. Good. Thanks. I hope you have a great birthday. And I hope we could add to that experience too. Okay. And this is Michelle. See, these are all the people that makes things so nice. Okay, this is now that's interesting because I mentioned somebody born on the 23rd, and this is the case with her out of Springdale, Maryland. Sharon Thompson is born February the 23rd, so her birthday was about a week and a half ago. Okay, so she's a Pisces too, but she's a February Pisces. In fact, I might do one time is tell you the difference. What's the difference of a February Pisces and a March Pisces? What's the difference of a December Capricorn and a January Capricorn? So I think because of this, I think you started an idea that I might have for next week's show. But anyway, you are the kind of person, Sharon, that will always be blessed to know people who know people who know people. How you may have met your husband, got your job, found your home, got a car. Whatever milestones you have is because somebody knew somebody, and this is a world of definitely who knows who. It also indicates you're bright, engaging, youthful, energetic, optimistic. You have a love of travel, freedom, space, diversity, variety, things of that nature. And it tells me you're multi-talented, multi-dimensional, multifaceted. So if a person was to look at some of the things you've done and look at your resume, since you kind of started out in life, they would be very surprised. Now, in your case, you happen to be in an 8 personal year. I took February the 23rd, added it to 2010 in my head, and that factored out to an 8. So where the 6 rules romance and finance, the 8 rules finance and romance. So that's the uniqueness. 6s and 8s get along very well because they're both earth numbers. But with the 6s, romance comes first, then finance. With an 8, like you're in, Sharon, finance comes first, and then romance. Okay, so I've noticed in an 8, It's a good time to purchase property. It deals with legacies, real estate, legal matters, insurance papers, documents, wills, trust funds, things of that nature. You do a lot of growing up and reconnect you with people from your past that you haven't seen or heard from in a long time. Let me tell you this. This that I'm sharing with you is so significant. Um, in a way that there is nothing that we can do where there's not a sign for us to do what we need to do. But we need to understand what cycles of life are we in. Are we in the spring of our life, the summer, the fall, the winter? And I'm not talking just by age. I'm talking about the way the cycles work from year to year too. Okay. So, so your lucky numbers, by the way, or most important numbers, by the way, Sharon, are always the 5, 6, and 3. And your best days are always on a Wednesday and a Friday and a Thursday. So it's really Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the way the calendar works. But your calendar says Wednesday's always first, Friday's always second, Thursday's always third. Okay. Very good. Okay. Okay. So this person said, this is funny. Well, I'm very honored. They said I was in their dreams. Okay. And you were in my dream giving me lottery numbers. That's interesting. You know, and let me tell you this. In my career, people have often asked me that. Well, do you know the lucky numbers? If I knew how to hit a lottery, this show would be AI, okay? I'd be somewhere on a yacht somewhere or by the sand, sea, and sun. I don't know that. I'm not good at it, but I'll tell you this. I tell you this. What happened is I did a stare and the number, okay, this number that came to me is 3849. I have no idea what that means. If you play it, you're on your own, okay? 1024. It adds a 24, which is a 6. And you know what's interesting? Today is a 6 universal day. Today is actually a 6 universal day. What do I mean? Well, if you take today's month, day, and year, March the 11th to 2024, it adds up to, 2026, it adds up to 24, which is a 6. So now, that's only because of this. I don't think that every week I'm giving out numbers. I don't do that. Because if you don't hit it, y'all gonna be looking at me strange. I got enough challenges as it is, okay? So the only thing, so I just looked off, and that was the number that came to me, 3849, and it just happened to add the 24, which is a 6. And what's interesting, you did not give your birthday, but does that mean you happen to be a Taurus or a Libra or born on the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th? If you can confirm that later on down in the comment section, I would appreciate that, because I'm always experimenting. I'm always doing research and stuff like that. But I hope that helps you, and I hope the dream was very pleasant. Okay, very good. Okay, now this is Marla. Again, I read you earlier. Okay, so, and I said your son was in the 4th house. Okay, can't wait for the class. Okay, thanks, Adrian. I'm glad you're going to join us for the classes. Now, let me tell you about the class she's talking about. I have so far about maybe just a couple of people, which is what I want. And this is for those that are very, very serious about really wanting to take this as a skill set, not just to learn it, just to say, okay, I know numerology. There's this thing is moving slow. This is how my course is, okay? So I'm learning numerology, and it's something to do where you can read people and whatnot, which I think is great. But I'm talking about, I want people who really want to do this. I've dedicated myself to this. I mean, people thought I had issues. Maybe I did have issues. Okay, I ain't gonna front. I asked myself too, like, especially when things got tight, like, Stray, you got family, you got kids, okay? They looking at you, and you know you better handle your business up in here. But but it shows the persistency paid off. That's the point. It really, really paid off. It paid off in ways that I could never ever imagine. All right, so this is let's see, Foxy, Foxy Sinatra, Fox Sinatra. Okay, hello to you too, brother. You happen to be a Gemini 2 person because you're born on the 29th day of the month. All righty. So what it seems to mean to me, you are an air sign with a water number, which means the power of logic and deduction, yet intuition at the same time. You happen to be in an 8 personal year too. When I took your birthday, May the 29th, added to this year of 2026, it added to an 8. Now that means you're in a power cycle. In fact, everybody wants to know, when am I going through an 8 cycle? Because it represents money. Hey, favorite choice of a lot of people. Power, the ability to make things happen. Achievement, which means to do some groundbreaking stuff. Recognition, to be given credit or your props for a job well done. So it's love, it's money, power, authority, achievement, recognition. It also means moving into a home, moving out of a home. It means you do a lot of growing up. And since it's a legacy number, a legacy cycle you're entering this year, it simply means meeting people from your past by ways of family reunions, high school, college reunions, weddings, funerals, christenings, baby showers, something that brings everybody back together. Like, man, I ain't seen you in a minute. How you doing? How's family? Stuff like that. And the one thing about an 8 cycle is when you do a lot of growing up as well. Okay. And it tells me that Capricorns will be drawn to you this year. Aquarians will be drawn to you this year, Librans, and anybody born on the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th. This is really an art that God has blessed me to have, that I developed it to a very, very good degree. So when I say to people, I'm the best numerologist on the planet, that is no joke. Nobody touches me with this. And please understand, I'm not saying it for the point of ego. I'm saying it that I have longevity. I have all the credentials. I have the experience and hands-on and stuff. That's why I'm only looking for a select few so I can pass those things that I've learned on to a very special few who will say, okay, I want to take this to the next level, just like Strayhorn. All right. All right. Oh, by the way, women are your blessing and your curse. You either work around a lot of women. If you got kids, you got maybe more girls than boys. Let's say he has 2 children, right? Well, the person is likely to be a girl, if not 2 girls. Okay. Let's say wherever he works at, he works in a place where there's more females than males, or his supervisor is a female. Okay. That's how that goes. All right. Now, let me say this. Now, see, this is the 3rd time you did this. You cannot do this. Actually, the instructions is so you did it once or twice. Now you're born on a Saturday. You put your name in once. Please don't do this because I've instructed my moderator to please make sure y'all are deleted. And I don't want to delete anyone, but I do understand. Okay. And I probably do the same thing too, keeping it real. All right. If I see somebody and I got a chance to get in, I'm going to put my digits in a couple of times. So I can't blame you. But what happens is it throws me off. And only because I remember that I read you that I have to go, because I'm looking for people I hadn't read. But listen, welcome to being human. None of us are walking on water. Okay, now when you start walking on water, then we got something. Okay, now this person here is born on April 8th. Now, this is the same birthday as Bob Johnson, the founder of BET and the first African-American billionaire, I do believe. But anyway, so you are a fire sign with an earth number, just like JP Morgan. He was born on the 17th. And so when he says the only real money is gold and silver, the paper money we're handling, he said that's just debt. And he said that back in the early 1900s. The only real money in this country is gold and silver. Everything else is debt. And what I'm saying is that 8 people just have a way with money. They have a way with finances. They have a way of how they handle their business. And I notice if they don't make a lot of money, they tend to work around a lot of money, which I think is interesting. Okay. So your numbers are the 8, 9, and 6. Your best days are Saturday, Tuesday, and Fridays. And the cycle you happen to be in this year is a 4 personal year. Now, 4 is somewhat oppositional to the 8. Now, there's a symbiotic relationship, unique relationship with a 4 and an 8 and an 8 and a 4. There's some 4s and 8s that get along very, very well. And then there's some 4s and 8s that should go to the nearest exit as soon as they come in contact with each other. We're talking about a Saturn-Uranus opposition. These are astrological terms that astrologers like Eric and Dominic and a couple of astrologers I know would understand. So, but anyway, so it just tells me it's about towing the line, handling your business, having a waste not, want not attitude, and things of that nature. And that's how things will go. All righty. So now this is Alicia. Alicia, oh so fly. Okay, oh so fly, Alicia. But that makes sense. You're number 1. Number 1s think they're the greatest thing because they always come in number 1. So I can understand that. And not only that, she's a Sagittarius too. So she's born with a youthful sign with a youthful number. So though she's born in 74, I know she attracts younger relationship. And that's what I'm saying. The operative word is what she will attract to her. She will attract not only younger men, she will attract long distance relationships. She will attract also foreigners. And if she ever goes to foreign countries and deal with foreigners, and she could easily learn, I would encourage her to learn a foreign language, whether Spanish or whatever the case is. That is the second most spoken language here in this country, believe it or not, although there are hundreds of different languages spoken in the United States, all kinds, okay? European, Asian, Caribbean, African languages spoken. But if she was stuck in a foreign country, in no time she could learn the lingo and get out of there. Like, help, how do I get out of here? What's the nearest plane or whatever the case is? So she's no joke. She's a survivor. And she needs to run her own business. She doesn't take orders well. That I can tell you right there. She doesn't take orders well. And by the way, Alicia Johnson, she's got all those youthful numbers in her name too. Your key numbers are the 1, 4, and 3. And your best days without question are always the months of your best days are always on a Sunday and a Thursday and a Tuesday in that order. Okay. And to, you see, good evening to you as well. Let's see. Can you please follow the direction of my moderator, please, where she says, please list your information once, duplication will be removed from the platform. So don't take it personal, people, only because I got a lot to do. Okay. Now this is a question that goes from the personal year to the personal month. Now, this is a question she posed. Hi, July 18th, 88. What can they expect for this month of March? Well, what you do is once you know your personal year, you add that year number to the month in question. So what I did was, so since she's born July the 18th, she happens to be in an 8 personal year. All right. So since she's in an 8 personal year, 8 added to the 3rd calendar month is an 11 or 2. So this is a cautionary month in a sense, because one of the major opposition numbers to the number 9 is the number 2. And so since you're in an 8, you're in an 8 personal year, a 3. So actually, this tells me you're going to be, it's good to change your diet. It's good to rearrange your home. And it's good to also rearrange some relationships too, all depending on how it is. All right. And because you got all those 8s running through your birthday, you got 3 8s running through your birthday, the tendency is to tend to be misunderstood. And so what it simply means, since Mercury is retrograde and anything you're dealing with right now, especially if it's relationships or finances, make sure you speak slowly. Make sure you think before you speak to make sure that your words are conveyed properly so it's not taken out of context. Because sometimes when Mercury's retrograde, you know, you're trying to show love and they think you're trying to go the other way with it. That's one of the side effects with when Mercury is retrograde. But other than that, this is a time for you to make some adjustments, some serious adjustments, and you'll do very well. Okay. And by the way, your numbers are always the 9, 6, and 3. And this is Blissfully. She's one of our regulars. Thank you so much. She's born August 22nd. See, so I know quite a few people's birthdays. I don't know everybody's birthday. And Pamela too. And bless her soul. Now she's in a 1 personal year. That means this is a year for her to make a fresh start. Again, we're in a culture that the older we get, the less we're respected. In other cultures, the older you get, the more you're respected. You listen to your elders here, okay? So in this case, it tells me that despite the year she's born in, that this is a year for her to make a fresh start, to do what she has to do. She's born at 8:02 p.m., which means her sun is sitting in the sixth house. So either the sixth house, yeah, the sixth house. 7:53 p.m. Yeah, your sun is sitting in the sixth house, that's for sure. So that's the house of health. So that tells me about your health and things of that nature, okay? So that's what I'm looking at. But you're in a one person year, your numbers are the 3, 6, and 5. And Thursdays and Fridays and Wednesdays are your best days. Now, this is Yolanda. She's been on before. She's got a birthday coming up, actually a month from now, because today is March the 11th, and a month from now will be April the 11th. But you happen to be in a 7 personal year, okay? So you happen to be in one of those cycles where it's about, I'll put it this way. When you're in a 7 cycle, this is when people become born-again Christians. They go back to church. They get psychic readings. But you're in a cycle that governs the law of attraction. And because you're born at 10:35 p.m., that means your sun is actually sitting in the 4th house. It's at the bottom. It's at the bottom in the house of Cancer. Okay. So that would explain the mothering kind of nature you may have. But this is a time to kind of get away from the noise and confusion, Yolanda. The name Yolanda adds up to a 9, by the way, that suggests one of your parents could have also been an Aries like you, or a Scorpio, or a Leo, or born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th of the month, or some of your best friends are too. So this is, and also when you are in a 7 cycle year, as you are, Yolanda, the rule is not to chase. See, 7 is magnetic. It draws to them what it thinks about. So I always give this common phrase in a 7 cycle. If you're walking around saying you ain't got no money, the 7 cycle will make sure it fulfills your wish. Just that simple. However, if you're thinking prosperity, guess what the 7 will do? Fulfill your wish. So let us, when you in, for those of you in 7 cycles, you got to be careful what you're thinking about, because you want to be blessed with this. And you don't chase, you just let go and let God, because that's the chemistry of how it works, okay? Okay. And Marla says, I got her on the spot. Thanks for the compliment, Marla. Much appreciated too. I want to teach people how to do this. I really do. Yes. Okay. Hold up. Yes, I'm going to promote. Every now and then, I rarely promote myself, but I'm going to take advantage because I want y'all to get a gist of this. Everybody, whether, let me remove this a second. Everybody, to be very honest with you, whether you are, and you don't have to do this for a living, but do it to know the cycles. Everybody has to deal with numbers. You might as well understand the metaphysical side. Enroll in these courses. Go to LLoyd-Strayhorn. Also, by the way, I have a free astro numerology calculator that helps you figure out your name and your cycles and stuff like that. It's absolutely free. You just go there to LLoyd-Strayhorn.com and click on it, put in your name, your birthday, and it'll spit out some information for you. But if you want to learn in a cursory way, that some of the essence of what I do from the book and from the books I wrote, these are the 3 courses you can take. The first one, I recommend the one in the middle. Learn from Lloyd how to read a person like the book. That was my premiere. And it's always been the bestseller ever since that started. And I started about 3-4 years ago, but it's still the bestseller every single time. It's the bestseller. I didn't put this on there. This is Udemy. Okay. Then the next best one is Learn from Lloyd. The Next Step in Numerology. That's the one at the top. That's the bestseller. And then the one, Learn from Lloyd, the Do's and Don'ts of Numerology. That's the one that's highest rated. So whatever it is, take these courses, okay? But what I am interested in, and I'm very picky because I'm a 7, I'm picky about somebody who really wants to take this to the level that I am. That if you're serious, because I cannot do this forever, but I do want to teach somebody that has a high level of proficiency that hopefully they one day will enjoy it. I got to be honest, this thing of numerology has taken me to China, to Egypt, to India, to London, to Hawaii. I mean, things I'd never thought about. and it's taught me English. It's taught me history, all from 1 to 9. So so you have to live my life to understand what I'm talking about. So for those who want to count the numbers and calculate and sound cute, that's fine. Okay. I'm talking about when you want to take it to the next level, where no matter where you go, no matter what language, no matter what the ethnicity of the person, the gender, or the sexual preference of the person is, you got their number and you want to help them help themselves to be the best that they can be. Or as now say a day is the best version of yourself. I think that's the newest lingo that's out here now. But the point is to really be your best. And so I'm just looking for just a few. I look for everybody, just a few. And so for those of you, if you think to, I would encourage you to click that QR code. Now I'll bring it on again. Now this is Bev Johnson. Bev Johnson, or Bev John, I don't know why I said Johnson, but Bev is a Libra 6, okay? Everything about her is a 6. What do I mean? She's born in the sign of Libra, which is ruled by the number 6. She's born on the 15th, 1 plus 5 is 6. And she's born in 1968, which is 24, and 2 plus 4 is 6. So everything about her is 6, 6, 6. So it tells me she's always a work in progress, beautiful lady, probably broke a lot of men's hearts when she was coming up, as women say back in the day. I mean, seriously, okay? She more than likely have had some point in her life where she's either taught, counseled, social work, teacher, nurse, doctor, professor, real estate, banking, law, always a work in progress, always about helping the community, the neighborhood, or something. At first, you may have thought she wanted to go into the arts. It indicates she was out on her own between her 19th and 22nd birthday, either go to school or just go out and see and explore what life had to offer her, things like that. Money, gifts, and favors have always come to her in some way. She has a very pleasant voice that if she developed a voice, she could do voiceovers and stuff like that. There is so much to every individual that comes on here. I see what maybe you don't see. But you know, it's so interesting because there's this concept called Cooley's looking glass self in sociology. Cooley's looking glass concept was this: the way I see me is totally different than the way you see me. I might see me and say, well, Lloyd, you know, you get up in the morning, I go in the bathroom, look at me like, man, you need to straighten that face out. But somebody said, man, you're a nice looking brother, okay? So what I'm saying is that it's like when you get sick, sometimes we think we got the worst disease, okay, or the worst illness. But you go and let the doctor figure that out. But what I'm saying is she has the ability to read people like a book. She would do well in the arts. And one thing, she would have done well as a singer, a voiceover person, voiceover coach. One of the qualities about a 6 I noticed, they have a very strong sense of right and wrong and justice. So let's say she's working on a job and they got cliques, right? So they all know if they've been around Bev Johnson, they know Bev Johnson don't do no, well, I'm with this crew and I'm with that crew. If you're right, I'm with you. If you're not right, I'm with you. Just that simple. She can be very stubborn too. And everything she likes, she really can't afford because she's got nice taste. But anyway, she is in an 8 personal year this year. 8 is very friendly to her 6. So that means she's in a cycle to make more money, do things with properties, wills, legacies, documents, insurance papers, trust funds, or 401ks, or whatever it is, pensions, whatever the case may be. But she's in a very powerful year and she's really coming of age, and she will be connected with people from her past that she haven't seen in a long time. Okay. So anyway, I gotta tell you, I enjoy this. I really, really do. Okay. Now this is Stacy. So what it tells me about Stacy's world 333 is so interesting because she is now here's what makes it interesting. To me, she's outside of the country. What gives me the clue is that when you're outside of the United States, like when I went to London or when I went to China or India or other place I've gone to, they always put their date of birth first. They're the 28th of March, which means they're March the 23rd. They're March the 28th. But they say I'm the 28th of March, which in such she's an Aries. So that means that Stacy's world is a fire sign with a 5 number, which means she's something else. Okay? She can be feisty. She is very determined, a little misunderstood. She has to be very careful who she puts her trust in, who she seeks her counsel from, and how she puts her name on the dotted line, because the 28 is called the divorce number, and it's not divorce from just a relationship. It means divorce from the material things that the person is rightfully entitled to have in life. And that is as a result of maybe, you know, she's honest with people, but people aren't always honest with her. But she's straight, no chaser. She tells it the way she sees it, and that's how it is. She happens to be in a 5 personal year, which means she's at the midway point in the 9-year cycle, which means she's ready to make a shift, either a shift to the left, shift to the right, keep going forward, or back up a bit, go down the road and come off another exit. But she wants a change for the better. And I would say who's ever dating her, if she's not married, of course, to give her plenty of breathing room, plenty of space. Your numbers, by the way, are the 1, the 4, and the 9. And Sundays and Tuesdays are your best days, okay? Okay. And Goldie says she has been changing her diet, okay, which is good, okay? Ginger, buy Lloyd's Orange Book, Numbers in You. Yes, I have 4 books available. Actually, I wrote 6 books, right? But only 4 of them are now available on Amazon. The one I always tell them to get is the Bible, and she is correct. Buy the Orange Book. First of all, that's the least expensive of the 4. And that's like the Bible. Just get that book. You can get all of them if you want to, but that's the one to get. Thanks, Gina Rogers, for plugging the book. I appreciate that very much. Because I need to start plugging myself more, you know? I do. But anyway, now this person, now where I had the Stacy, who was born on March the 28th, George is born on April the 28th. It makes them a Taurus. So George Wilson being a Taurus, Tauruses are steadfast. Another famous Taurus, one person was Malcolm X. Another famous Taurus was Jones. What's her name? Hold on to my bumper, baby. That's the name. I'll think of it in something Jones. But anyway, it tells me this. You need to, at some point, begin to think of how you can become more independent, self-reliant, and eventually maybe start your own business, okay? Businesses are started every day. Just as businesses go out of business, businesses are also started every day. It tells me you're very headstrong. You like to have things your way. It tells me the year you're born in suggests one of your parents could have been a Cancer or born on a date that adds up to a 2 or a 7. And because you were conceived in July of 1990, one of your parents could have also been there's a project I'm working on. That's why I'm saying about the year. In fact, I might take that up as a subject too, for research purposes. I think, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, birth year. Okay, and sign months. Okay, so these are ideas I have that I can discuss. I want to try to, although I'm trying to make it entertaining, I'm trying to I'm also doing research at the same time, and hopefully the feedback will be great. But the birthday tells me you have to be careful of your eyes, your heart palpitations, irregular blood circulations. It tells me also very strong will, and because 1 is a fixed number and Taurus is a fixed sign, which means when you get set in your ways, George, you are set in your ways. Yet the name George as the 25-7. Now that gives me a clue that one of your parents could have been a Cancer or Pisces, or born again on a 2 or 7. So I'd say that looking at this, one of your parents is either Pisces, Cancer, or born on a 2 or a 7. And if not, then my other alternative would be a Leo or Aquarius or a number 1 or a number 4. You can give me that. That'd be interesting because I'm in the research. This is how I wrote my book. This is what I'm saying. So for those who want to take my online courses, it kind of teaches you in a kind of a nice way, just the basics. But for those that really want to learn how to take it to the level that I am, I've been invited to different parts of the world because of this skill set that I developed, you can too. All right. So I'll talk about that again. All righty. So Georgia, lucky numbers are the 1, 4, and 9. Your best days are Sundays and Tuesdays. Okay. So now this is Queen Blessed 1646. Good evening. Tracy is July 23rd, 75. Okay. So that means you're Leo 5 person. okay? Born on the 25th, and you happen to be this year entering a full personal year. So what makes this as interesting is this. Not only will you do well this year, but even better next year, because right now you happen to be in a full personal year that governs one of your key numbers. It tells me you've always been old in the beginning, young at this point, always been blessed to know somebody who knows somebody. So if you're married, you may have met them, somebody introduced you. If you got a house, somebody say you need to go to get this apartment, they get it. You get it and they don't get it. Little things that work like that. You will always attract people under the signs from this that's born in and around the months of February, June, July, and August and September primarily. And your key numbers, by the way, are the 5, 1, and 4. And your best days are always on a Wednesday, followed by a Sunday, and then a minor way Tuesday. These were your numbers. But you should be a writer too. You've got gifts for writing. You should try that. Okay, writing and public speaking too. Alrighty. Okay, I did Bev. Let me just go up and make sure, because sometimes people will, because the list is so long, that sometimes people will make donations, and I want to make sure that I don't want to, because what I'll do sometime if I miss it, right? I'll make a note and I'll try to acknowledge it on the next one. Okay, but I think I got everybody. Okay. You think you missed your information? I don't know. I don't think I got you, ODG, but now I'm going back in. Okay. Oh, that's it. Thanks, Eartha. Grace Jones. Grace Jones. She was a Taurus 1. Beautiful, dark skinned man. And she not only got into modeling, she got into movies. And there's a book I got in my collection too on Grace Jones. There it is. I'm looking right at it now. Grace Jones. I'll pull it out at some point later. Amazing woman. Okay. And this is I read earlier. It says you were right. People from the past have been popping back up this year. Yep. You're also in a pregnancy cycle too. Okay. Here's what I mean. When I say pregnancy cycle, it all depends on your age, which I can't remember at the point, but I know you May 29th. Okay, I do remember that part. But the point is, if you're married or if you're in a year where you want to have children, this is great. Or somebody says, man, you're going to be an uncle. Or I want you to be a godfather. Or something of that nature. It has to be that way. And thanks, Pamela Grace Jones. Thanks. See, that's why my family is so cool. Y'all know who I'm talking about, okay? That's what I'm saying, all righty? So now let me do Metaphysique, Quincy Glover, May 18th. This is another Taurus. This is a Taurus is very headstrong. It's interesting. Taurus 1s and Taurus 9s are very consistent. These are people you don't mess with unless you're prepared to go to the mat, all righty? Now, they might appear to be kind of laid back, but these laid back until you ruffle their feathers, and then, boy, everybody and their mother better watch out, all right? So it tells me that this year you're in a 6th personal year, okay, Quincy? So, and you're 1990, so you're in your 30s. So I don't know whether you're married or in a relationship, but this is a good time to either get engaged, make a commitment, get married. I was going to say give birth. You can't give birth, okay? Although they're trying to make it like guys can give birth. That's never going to happen. That's the way God has designed it. But it tells me you can witness the birth of your child, okay? The birth of your son, the birth of your daughter. And it also indicates you may have had an interest at one point in going into a career where a uniform is worn, whether it's the military, law enforcement, construction. But you also make an excellent surgeon, by the way, too. If you went into the medical school, you do that well. You would do well in athletics as a coach or counselor. You don't take orders well, Quincy. I gotta be straight up with you. Taking orders, you're not gonna let people talk to you any kind of way either. And it tells me since you were born in 1989 that one of your parents was either Aries or Scorpio or Leo or born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th as well. There's some research I'm doing, and I want to kind of get y'all involved because I'm putting something together soon, and hopefully I'll be able to share with you in the next couple of months. but this will help me in my research because I want to make sure I know what I'm talking about. I remember when we was growing up as kids, they were saying about about being a black or being of color, that we got to know what we talking about. When we say something, we just can't throw stuff out there willy nilly. Now, other people can do that, right? We don't have that luxury. When we do something, we have to know what we're doing, okay? And let me see something here. Um, okay, and good evening to you as well. Checkmate Fire Goddess 76. Okay, and this person here, peace, love, thank you. They're born February the 8th. They were born in the morning at 4. So your son, your son is sitting in the second house. Your son is sitting in the second house, in the house of Taurus. So you may have a strong Taurus influence. And that makes sense because 8 rules money and finances, and Taurus is the house of possessions and money. So it tells me that this year you're in a 2 personal year, which means be patient. A change of diet would be good. Also, eating habits, dietary laws, things like that. 8s medically tend to be misunderstood a lot, okay? So it tells me and it's so interesting. Don't forget, a lot of our food now is processed. And they are finally beginning to leak out slowly that processed foods is not good for us. The food industry doesn't like it because it cuts into their profit. I would think, see, here's how I think. I know this sounds crazy. My thing is, if I build a quality product, for generations and generations and generations will always sell because I get a quality product. But if I'm making a product just for the point of making a buck, well, eventually things run out. So when you kill up everybody, how you gonna make a profit? I just don't understand this thinking. And maybe it's not meant for me to understand this thinking. But this is all I know. All righty. So your numbers, by the way, are the 8, 4, and 1, and your best days are Saturdays and Sundays. Okay. I've got, the list is closed. I will read 1 or 2 more people, and then I got to respect my moderator's time. This is Mark Matthews, born on August the 12th. I think I know Mark Matthews. I have a brief reading. Okay, first of all, you're a fire sign with a fire number. All right, get that straight. You happen to be in a 3 personal year. Now, he's the first person that came into the family this evening where his personal year is matching his date of birth. I took August the 12th to 2026. That adds up to a 3. So he happens to be born on the 12th, and his personal year happens to be a 3, which matches it. So your personal year is in alignment with your date of birth. And this is called the Jupiter cycle. And in fact, in July, Leo, Jupiter is going to go into the sign of Leo anyway. So, brother, you're going to have a slamming summer. It's going to be outrageous. It all depends on what you do or don't do with it. And the only thing about 3s is taking things to the extreme. All righty. And so you said you were born at 2:12 in Manhattan, but you didn't say AM or PM. So if you were born in the PM, that would have been in house number 8. If you were born at 2 PM, 2 AM, that means you'd be in the 3rd house, the house of brothers and sisters. But anyway, regardless of that, it's going to be a great year for you. This is like bringing harvest to market. It's like all the things you've planted, all the things you've harvested, now you bring it to market, so your wares, because this is a money cycle for you. Money, a part of money, achievement, acknowledgement, recognition, all kinds of good things. You almost have no excuse not to do well this year. And in fact, in the past, it's going to be like you went through in the year of 2017 and the year of 2008 when President Obama was elected for the first time. Okay. So that's I'm seeing everything is cyclical. And I'm just going to take one more. And then I got to get his phone here. Okay. Now, people are asking other questions like, what's the best match for me? Here's what you want to do. Why don't you go to my website, LLoyd-Strayhorn.com, and click on the consultation link, and you can schedule a time and a day that works best for you. I have several different tiers from small mini readings, where you just got a couple of questions or something more in depth. That is strictly up to you. So go to Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. That's LLoyd-Strayhorn, Strayhorn.com. You click on consultation link to set up an appointment. You can sign up for the free monthly newsletter there. You can also go to my astronumerology calculator to see what your figures are. That's just punching in your birthday. That's on the house. Okay. And you can also sign up for the classes right there too and take advantage of it. So I did read Tracy. I did read you. Okay. I think I read everybody. Okay. Oh, here's OD. This one I was looking for. See, they're April the 20th. See, because notice it's at 20 and then a 4. So they tell me if they're born on the 20th of April, that tells me they're either born somewhere in London, uh, um, uh, some other part of the world, because Africa too. Only in the United States do they put the month first and the day. Outside of the United States, they will always put the date of birth first, then the month, then the year. So you're a borderline case. And when I say that, it has nothing to do with the mental state of mind, except, for example, this is the same day as Hitler. This is the same day as Luther Vandross. This is the same day as Jerry Seinfeld. This is the same day as Tito Puente. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a wide range. Now, in some of them, Hitler was considered an Aries, but when I met Luther Vandross, he was a Taurus. Okay, or was he Aries and Taurus? I know he signed a CD for me, but nonetheless, it all depends. See, this is why an astrologer needs to know where were you born on April the 20th? What time were you born? And then they can figure out that, oh, you were born close to midnight, so therefore you lean more toward the Taurus, or you were born way in the morning, therefore you're still under the sign of Aries. So it depends. So for Hitler, they made him Aries. For probably Jerry Seinfeld, they probably made him Taurus. For Luther Vandross, they probably made him Taurus. And definitely for Tito Puente, they definitely made him Taurus. And El Rey Timbal, he was just, you'd have to understand the period I come out to understand who this gentleman is. But in your case, it tells me that you're very sensitive, very receptive, read a person like a book, and you're very persistent, very much into details, cleanliness, and you would be a dapper dresser. Always when you dress, it always has that kind of appeal, that eye appeal and stuff, and a good sense of aesthetics. Your key numbers are the 2, 7, and 6, and your best days are always on Mondays and Fridays. And if I don't get off this phone, I'll get off this show. My moderator's going to tell me about myself. So I want to thank everybody very, very much for joining me. I do want to, let me see this. I do need to wrap this up. And I do thank everybody, but I must list all my sponsors, to be honest with you. And that should only take a minute. My sponsors going back is, okay, my buddy, King Simon. Get his books. His books are available on Amazon. Or you can go to his book. You can go to his contact, ask the numerator at gmail.com for his contacts. And as it says, his books can be purchased via Amazon, or go to his linktree/King Simon, the numerator. I have all of his books. I mean, I have all of them. I don't joke. The one I'm most jealous is numbers are simple, people are complicated. I don't know what that man was doing when he came up with this idea, but it is so true. Numbers are very simple. 1 + 1 is 2. But people, y'all can be something else. Anyway, also, I also want to thank Miss Kimberly for being a sponsor for Manifest on Purpose. She's also put out a new book that just came out. It's not about it's about 4 months old, 5 months old. It's a new kid on the block. It's The Business of Numerology. You can get it on Amazon. If you buy it, give it a review, send her a copy of the review. And you got a business, she will give you a complimentary assessment of your business. Also, You Can Hack It, Soul First, Master 24 Hours, Master Life. This is a book. He also has a companion with it. In fact, I've got the book right here somewhere on my table. Also, definitely one of my favorite ladies on the planet, Monique Nicholas of Nicholas, Brooklyn at 1396. She is the most pleasant human being I've met. And I mean, I met Bones. Everybody loves this woman. You can see why. She's just generous. She's selfless. She raises her daughter, Nicole. I mean, she's just an amazing person. But definitely make sure y'all give some donation. Please help her stay alive. When you go into her store, I've had her on twice. She took me around the store, and every time I see something in the store, I say I'm going to get it when I come there, and I'll be there in about 2 weeks. When she has historian Anthony Browder, who is his new book is going to be released. I plan to buy a book myself. I'm going to meet King Simon. For those of you who want to see me, King Simon and myself, we'll be at 1396 Fulton Street in Brooklyn on that Saturday, the 21st. But in the meantime, this Saturday coming up, she will have the Sovereign Things tour, and the doors open at 6 p.m. and there is a fee for that. And she rarely charges a fee, but like, listen, as much as she does, y'all put some skin in the game. Also, for Melinda Valentine, please subscribe to her services. She's got bears. She's got these beautiful gift cards. I mean, she's just brilliant. Well, all the people. See, I think all the people are brilliant. We have to think about ourselves as being brilliant. And once we do that, it's a wrap. But we have been programmed to think less of ourselves. But we are the greatest people on this planet. And if you don't get it, you will always have problems. I'm telling you. All right. So I'm not down with none of that. So Melinda Valentine, go to the bottom, click on her number, and get your readings and whatnot. And because we're still in the the water period, make sure you pick up a copy of the book, Water Reflections. It's a journal where you can document. And also congratulations to Big E, who is giving a 10-week course beginning March the 29th through June the 14th. And I got to hint, Eric, if you're watching this show, I need a copy of this book from you and Alana. I need y'all to sign it and send it to me. I have a special collection. And so before I go, please, my course is on sale today and tomorrow. I think it ends tomorrow, Thursday or Friday. Please take advantage to learn the basics, okay? Everybody should know this. Everybody should know how to be in the right place at the right time, in harmony with the universe, as I call it. And to show you, as I said, I've got over 6,700, over 6,900 students, and they are actually scattered across the globe, okay? And this is where they are. This is on Udemy. Don't take my word for it. Go Udemy and click on the map. You'll see for yourself. I'm all over the place. Students from every part of the world has signed up and is registered and taking this course. That's why I'm looking for a very select few to be a part of my certified astronumerology practitioner program level 1. I'm not looking for a lot of people. Just click on the barcode. There's a questionnaire you have to fill out. If you think you qualify, and just because you say, yeah, I want to do this, we'll see in earnest. Your response to our questionnaires will tell me how in earnest you are. And then there's going to be a whole nother component to the certification program level 1 too. So this is only for those that are very serious about this. For those of you also, the free monthly newsletter is out for March, and that's absolutely free. Just go to LLoydStrayhorn.com. And for those of you, if you want to, you can see what was, okay, I write totally different and I talk totally different on the videos, but this is something we've done. I think this is our 27th non-consecutive monthly forecast for March. And so you can either pick up the newsletter. We do not sell your name. That's very important. We do not sell the mailing list. But at each sign on there will be the link that if you want to hear the audio version, you click on the link and it will carry over here where you can hear exactly what was discussed, okay, with Ms. Kimberly and myself. So everybody, I want to thank you. I do want to thank, I got to thank Empress Rel for spending her time with me like she has nothing else to do, but she's beautiful. I thank all of you very much. Every Monday right now, I'm having reruns, okay? You know how shows have their reruns, okay? Well, I'm doing that right now. because I'm working on a project that's nearly completed. But on Wednesday, I am live, okay? So I want to thank all of you very, very much. You'll all make sure you'll take good care of yourselves. I love you very much, seriously. And I thank all of you for doing what you're doing now. And I can't find the music. This is crazy. Okay. Well, anyway, folksies, I can't play the sign off music because Mercury's retrograde. So after that, everything will be fine. So everybody, have a nice day. Take care. Be safe.